Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Awakened Souls podcast. I'm your host, Devin Brown, a Kundalini activator, spiritual guide, mentor, and hopefully just a great source of entertainment for you. Let's get ready to dive in. It is July. It was supposed to have this podcast episode released on July 1st. That did not happen. That is my fault, and I am totally owning it, but I'm also 1,000% okay with it, with everything going on in my life right now. So that being said, today we're going to be talking about being a pupil of Earth. What on earth do I mean by that? Well, I had an experience over the weekend, which is one of the reasons that this podcast episode is coming late, because my guides made it very clear that this is something I needed to talk to you guys about. And even further than that, the source himself, herself, itself, however you want to call your being and deity of light, made it clear that this was something that needed to be revisited, so to speak. I was in a very deep meditation, and I was suddenly, I was in the astral, I was definitely traveling, but I was more healing and focusing on myself and pouring into myself and connecting with my guides, all of this stuff that I'm used to doing and normally doing. All of a sudden, I am thrust into the throne room of the creator of Earth. And for those of you who are new here, as I stated in my intro that is put to music and, a little fun time, I remember creation. I am a Kundalini activator. What does this mean? I have known that I am not of Earth. I used to say not human. I've been told to also change the way I word that I am not of Earth since I was about 13 years old. I actually talk about this in my book, The Power Within Us, and you can get that on Amazon, at your local bookstore, have them order it. Anyone can order it. It's available. You're ready to go. That being said, I ended up having this moment where I was suddenly in the throne room of the creator of Earth. And this is someone who I have great knowledge of. I would know them on the astral plane and in the spiritual realm on a deep personal way. They are one of the strongest, most divine, powerful creators and entities that you can even fathom or think of. But beyond that, I know that I came to Earth specifically to help usher in humanity and help rebrand humanity, as in save humanity, and just allow Earth to come back to source, come back to remembrance of being one with the creator, being brought back from this dark place of control that we have entered into today, and allowing magic and manifestation to come back into being. So that being said, you need to know that to know the rest of the story. I used to astral project or meditate into the throne room all the time. I would actually be walking down the street and people would be like, "Whoa, you're glowing. What are you doing? Are you eating different? What diet are you on?" etc. But it would always be right after I would have one of these experiences. And it reminds me of, I think it's Moses in the Bible, where he goes on to the mount to get the 10 Commandments, and he came back down after meeting with the creator, and his face glowed so bright that they had to cover it with a towel because it was hard for people to look at him. And so picture it kind of like that. So I was suddenly in the throne room, but it wasn't a pleasant experience. It wasn't bad, but it was one of those I immediately knew, because I did not choose to go there. I was pulled there. I was pulled into the throne room, and I was like, okay, hi. What am I doing here? What's going on? I'm pretty sure I'm on my mission. Pretty sure I'm on my right life path. Pretty sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. What is it? And I'm going to use he relatively. This is a being that knows no time, no space, doesn't fit into the parameters of Earth's male or female type situation. And he told me, you are there on Earth. You're doing what I had asked of you. You're doing what you committed to, but you're calling on your team members, you're calling on your guides, I work with different entities and beings. I can see things in other dimensions. Like those are the things I typically call on because that's what's there to me. And that's what's real to me on a very regular basis. Like I can look outside and see fairies. I can look and see ghosts. I can see spirits. I can see deceased. I can see all of these things. And these are things that I've been able to do since I was a kid. And so it's very easy for me to call out to those things. And he was like, but you have at some point stopped calling out on my name. You've stopped calling for my help. He's like, you need to remember that I created that land that you walk on right now in that physical form. Like I'm the one that is able to do it. And I kind of in my head made this joke of like, so basically you're the dungeon master of this game. Like almost like I'm sitting here playing Dungeons and Dragons and you are the dungeon master and I can, call out for help. But the point of the matter was true. Like I was specifically told even by the creator and by my guides to write a book about the power within us. But even in the book, I talk about coming and calling onto source, calling and knowing that connection and revisiting and re-knowing who we are. And somewhere along the way in my own growth, I forget to be human. And what on earth do I mean by that? I am here not just as a teacher, not just as a healer, not just as a being of the spirit, but I am here literally as a pupil of earth. And what that means is I'm here to learn to be humble in a way. I'm here to learn to call for help from the being that created this planet that I remember, and I talk about this in my book, looking at him putting things into earth, putting a piece of himself into every single living, breathing thing and thinking like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. Like I have to go there. Like I remember wanting so badly to be a part of this. And yet somewhere along the way, I've connected to my highest self. I've connected to who I am as a spiritual being. And I know that I walk this earth as my highest self. Now, it doesn't mean that I can't go higher. I can absolutely connect even higher. Like I have not reached my full potential in this human body. Like, and I know that, but a part of it being in this physical form is to learn humility. Like there's a lot of beings and entities from other dimensions, such as dragons, that have come into physical form to learn humility, sometimes punishment as well, and to be put into something that is so different than what they are used to and what they prefer and what they long for and what they want. And it's one of those things that like to be a pupil of earth is to remember that we're all connected. To be a pupil of earth is to remember that we are here to connect to ourselves, to get back to remembrance, to break out of the matrix, so to speak, to break conditioning and to have self-love. But we're also here for play. We're here for reconnection. We're here to cry out if we need to cry out for help. We're here to beg for forgiveness if we need to beg for forgiveness. Like I even think of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, where he was crying drops of blood or sweating drops of blood because he was so anxious and saying, if this cup can pass, please let it pass. Like I am so nervous about what I have to do, so nervous about what's to take place. And we end up losing this idea of source when we look too far within ourselves. And I've never fully, like I've always believed in the creator. I've always believed, in the higher power and the higher being because I have experienced that from such a young age. And I knew that I was an angel. I knew that I was an earth angel, but I also know part of my memories and part of my things come from remembering being essentially a demigoddess, being, like the goddess Ishtar that people would know from so far back, and being connected to certain names, knowing that those experiences and those things were a part of me in humanity, but it wasn't me as a spiritual being. As a spiritual being, I am essentially what Earth would call an angel or a starseed or a light worker or whatever it is you want to call me. I don't really care. But my whole point is I'm also a pupil. I'm here to be a student. I'm here to learn. I'm here to embrace humility because I cannot access all the powers that I know that I can in my spiritual self. I am here to remember that we are all connected. Remember that even the tiniest ant and that soul is just as important as the body of something else. Like, and this is one reason that I eat vegetarian. And I've done so for almost 7 years of the past decade. Like, I know that connection. And that's not to say like everybody has to go out and eat vegetarian. Like, I cook meat for my children because I know that that is what they want and that is their journey. Like, that is fine. Like, you guys do what you need to do for yourself. This is not like a PETA platform over here. But my point is, to be a pupil of Earth is to remember that we don't have to know all the answers. Sometimes we can just call out for help. But when we call out for help, remember who put you here. Remember why you came. Your soul family's there. Your guides are there. Your protectors are there. The beings and entities and your team is there to help you complete your mission, to help you do your soul purpose, to help you get to the place of understanding that you are seeking and that you want to be. But just remember too that it doesn't have to be healing all the time. Earth in and of itself is hard enough. Earth in and of itself has all of these limitations that we are not used to as healers and starseeds and spiritual beings, because this is the episode that is specifically meant for you. Like, we are here on this planet not only to usher into a new Earth, but to remember how to be something other than what we know ourselves to be, to experience being something other than what we know ourselves to be. Even the limitations, even the things that frustrate us, we came here for some of those experiences. And part of being a pupil of Earth is learning to embrace that. Part of being a pupil of Earth is learning to love ourselves even in the midst of this insane journey, to show compassion to ourselves even in the midst of all of this frustration, to know that we are enough exactly as we are. And that's all we need. Like, literally, that's it. There doesn't even have to be anything else. Like, so all that to say, so I'm going to be honest, my computer, as I was talking, I was at such a high vibration that my entire thing just went bloop and it froze. I have no idea where it stopped on this podcast episode and where it began, and it just did it again. So I'm taking that as a sign that you guys really need to hear this message. All that to say, remember that you are here to learn. Earth is hard enough. It is hard enough to be where we are. It is hard enough to let go of all the superpowers, so to speak, that we have in the astral, and to truly come into ourselves and to truly embrace ourselves. And you need to remember to have compassion for yourself. You need to remember to have love for yourself. You need to remember that you are enough exactly as you are. You are perfectly imperfect, and we don't have to have all the answers. And you can choose tomorrow to be at a different vibration than you were today. I want to give some big examples that people are going to recognize just because their stories told all the time. Saul becoming Paul, persecuting and killing Christians to all of a sudden being one of the biggest Christian leaders there is. That's one example just right there. Moses being son of Pharaoh, like an adopted child, to suddenly being the leader of the Israelites, leading those people, bringing them out of captivity from where they were and moving them into something different. Let's take a more tangible example of something that causes so much strife in politics. Like, think about the woman who put into effect Roe versus Wade. And this is not a political debate. I'm just stating at some point in time, she reached a point where she was like, okay, this no longer aligns. So I feel like I need to fight against this now. Like, you can be a different vibration and a different being and a different entity at any point in time that you choose. You can make different decisions that align with your soul purpose and align with your heart and align with where you want to be. But the key is you need to be in alignment with your source. You need to be in alignment with the person or the being or the entity that you want to be, that called you here, that put you together with your team, and that said, you got this. Like, and we do, guys, we got this. Like, we're not alone. We have a team. We have all of this beautiful stuff that we can call upon, all these beautiful entities and beings and all this stuff. And we can even call upon ourselves. But let's not forget that we are still pupils of Earth, and there is a being, a divine being, source, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it, that created this space and put us here and allowed us to be here. Another memory that I have, and I talk about this also in the book, is the war between the gods, so to speak, because humanity knew us, starseeds and angels, once as gods, hence the term demigoddess. And we were fighting against each other. Some wanted to take humanity and use it and control it and bring themselves to a place of power and worship and being this divine creature, just like the creator himself was. And then there were those of us who were like, no, they deserve more. They deserve their own individuality. Like, this isn't, how it should be, etc. Like, there was a war between all of us starseeds, and we all essentially had to pick a side. But we're at a place now where we have to pick a side again, and we can pick who we're going to be. But no matter what side you're choosing, you are still a pupil of Earth. You are still a student of this space. You are still learning. And we're never going to be masters. So it's all about partially enjoying the journey. It's about loving ourselves and moving ourselves into a place of divine union within ourselves, within our own spirit, within who we want to be, but moving even more forward into why we were sent here and for what purpose, and following your highest passion. That is the key. I will give an example for myself. A lot of people know I've been a salon owner owning a space like in the Pittsburgh area for 4 years. I love doing hair. This is something that I do. It's something that I'm always going to do. Like, even when I'm old and gray, I'm going to have like a little salon in my basement. I'm going to be doing people's hair. I absolutely love it. But is it my highest passion? No, it's not. And I put out a spell or a magic or a manifestation, whatever it is you want to call it, on summer solstice. And I said, by fall equinox, I am going to have these goals set that's going to take me on my path that I'm meant to be on. And in a way, my hand was forced. The creator, the universe, whatever, all certain doors happened and everything. And I am now going to be closing my brick and mortar salon location and moving select clients and friends in home, and focusing also on building what I know is my highest passion, this podcast, my spirituality group, becoming the healer for the healers that I know that I am meant to be, the reason I am meant to be here, to recenter, to restructure, to bring them back to their own place of fluidity and calm and peace. And all the doors that were needed for me to follow my highest passion when I was finally willing to embrace it opened and closed according to the way that they needed to. And it is one of the best things in the world that you can do when you both let go of control and regain it at the same time. And if you have never been there, I cannot wait for you to experience that. It is the most wonderful, magical feeling that you will ever have. That being said, if anything I speak to you resonates, I would love to hear from you. I am accepting mentors into my Quantum Circle mentorship. We do tarot readings and channeled messages at least once a week. Most of the time I get more for you guys. We do energy updates throughout the month, and we also do a big new meditation to help you heal whatever it is you might be needing to focus on for the month, and you gain access to my activations library. And I also have my Kundalini activation program, which is meant to bring you back into remembrance of who you were in your soul body, who you are known to as source or from source before you came into this physical form. And it is a program that I have gotten amazing feedback on. I know this program works. I know that those who it is meant for, it will find. And as always, I hope you guys have a happy Monday. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and I will see you guys next week.